Hey there, friends. Welcome back to another 3-Minute Thoughts. My name is Derek, and just a few minutes each weekday, we slow down, walk through one chapter of the New Testament, and think about what it might mean for our real life. We've been through the first two gospel accounts, Matthew and Mark, and we're now into Luke's gospel. We're going to be in chapter 21 today. So today we'll look at Luke 21. This chapter starts small, but it doesn't stay small. Jesus is watching people give offerings at the temple. Wealthy individuals are putting in large amounts, and then this poor widow enters the scene. She gives 2 simple small coins. In comparison to what everybody else has done, it seems like nothing. But Jesus says that she gave more than all the others. How can this be? Because the issue with Jesus is that he sees these others giving out of their excess, but she gave out of what she actually needed. In other words, she needed the money she gave to live on, and yet she gave it anyway as a moment of worship and praise. It's a reminder that value isn't always measured by size. It's measured by sacrifice. And then the conversation shifts. The disciples are admiring the temple, its beauty, its strength, its size, its stability. And then Jesus says something that would have been shocking to anyone who heard him. Not one stone will be left on another. In other words, what feels permanent is not. Now, they ask the obvious question, when is this going to happen? Jesus responds with not a timeline, but a mindset. He talks about wars, disasters, confusion, betrayal, pressure, the kind of things that make life feel uncertain and unstable, the things that fill our lives today. But the repeated message is not about panic, it's about steadiness. Don't be deceived, don't be afraid, stand firm, be on guard, over and over again. This chapter isn't about predicting the future, it's about preparing for it. But because instability is part of life. Systems change, circumstances shift, things we thought would last don't. And in the middle of all that, Jesus points to something deeper than circumstances. He points to endurance. He says, by your endurance, you will gain your lives. Then he gives a picture of a fig tree budding. When you see the signs, you know the season is changing. Pay attention, stay awake, don't drift. So what exactly does Luke 21 have to do with our lives today? Simply, it reminds us that security built on external things like money, systems, reputation, those things can be shaken. But there's another way to live, a way to live that's grounded and aware, steady, even when things are not steady around us. And maybe the question for us today is, when life feels uncertain, where do I actually go for stability? Because whatever that answer is, that is our foundation. That's where we're grounded. Thanks for taking these few minutes with me today. Be well, friends.